Good evening and a warm welcome to each and every one of you students from around the globe who are participating in this solidarity call with our brothers and sisters in Israel. We're going to open the call with Rabbi Yossy Gordon, the Executive Vice President of Chabad on Campus International. Rabbi Gordon.
Shalom to all. First for me is to express thanks on behalf of Chabad on Campus International. I thank everyone for coming to this call today. Of course, I thank the members of our team for arranging it. I understand we have many hundreds of participants, nearly 1,000 Ken Yirbu. So as a proud Jew, I thank you all. I thank you for coming today, and I thank you for caring. We all share the same concern for the Jewish people. That's why we're having this call. And you all know from your Jewish experiences at Chabad and your relationship with your Chabad Shluchim that Chabad on campus is there to provide what the Jewish people need, and that's why Chabad is your home away from home. When one's family is in danger, we look to our home for support and for guidance. We look to our family. Right now, our family is in danger. We have to stand up and be counted, and we have to stand up and share our message. What's happening in Israel isn't some statistic or some historical account. When I say we, I mean us as in the entire Jewish community, and the Jewish community looks to campus to see what is the reaction, what is happening, what are the students thinking, and what are the students saying. Right now, our brothers and our sisters in Israel are being attacked from within their very own borders. Those on the ground in Israel need to do what they have to do, and we, the Jewish people, and especially on campus, where the battle of ideas is being relentlessly waged every day, we need to stand up and engage, each of us using our own unique skills and our own unique opportunities. The program this evening will be brief, powerful, and to the point. Without question, Jewish unity has always been the source of our blessings, and tonight our unity is certainly going to help provide the strength and divine blessing for our brethren to be secure in their land, in our beloved Israel. Right now, I'm going to turn it over to the next speaker who will serve as your master of ceremonies this evening. Please give your attention to Rabbi Zalman Blooming, Shliach of the Rebbe to Duke University and University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Rabbi Blooming.
Thank you, Rabbi Yossy Gordon, and welcome once again to the International Chabad on Campus conference call, uniting students from around the world to stand proudly with Israel. As I am sure you are well aware, Eretz Yisrael, our precious, tender, and eternal homeland, is once again under merciless attack. Her sacred stones and streets have been soaked with blood. Panic and terror have been sown into the hearts of millions of our brothers and sisters. In front of my eyes, I can see the searing picture of a 4-year-old boy, the son of Eitam and Naama, as he hugs onto his father's body, his sacred tallis, as he bids him farewell. This couple was brutally murdered in the West Bank just a couple weeks ago. Just hours ago, the fourth attack in Yerushalayim, in Jerusalem, took place, and firebombs in Judea and Samaria, attacking innocent men and women, children and elders. And as we read in the Torah just last week, the bloods of our brother are shouting at me from the ground. Their blood and the blood of all of the other innocent victims is bellowing at us, desperately trying to be heard, as the entire Israel is on the front line of a war. And indeed, we hear their cries and are here today rallying for action. As Moshe Rabbeinu told the remnants of the tribes of Israel, Ha'achechem yetzu lamilchama va'atem teshvu po. Is it possible that your brothers are confronted by battle and you will remain silent here? We each feel the necessity to join Israel in her just battle for survival and security, because we are our brother's keepers. The Lubavitcher Rebbe taught us how we can help, even from the other side of the world, because every single mitzvah, deed that we do helps ensure Israel's security. Together, today, we will pray. We'll hear inspiring words of Torah, pledge towards charities in Eretz Yisrael, and hear how we can help on the media front. We're going to begin with the Tehillim, which was written by David HaMelech, the great king and warrior for Jerusalem. His timeless words give voice to our people's deepest feelings, both in times of great trouble and of joy. I'd like to ask from the eternal capital of the eternal people, of the eternal God, the city of Yerushalayim, Yossy Gordon, who directs Chabad on Campus's premier Israel trip, Israel Links, to lead us in the recital of the Tehillim.
Thank you, Rabbi Greenberg. The Tehillim, the Psalms, has been posted on the Facebook event page if people want to follow along. I'm going to read chapter number 20, which is a chapter that we say in times such as these. I'll read it slowly for those that want to follow along. It's also translated into English and transliterated on the Facebook page. Nam Natseach Mizmar LeDavid. Yancha Adonai b'yom tzara, Yisagevcha Hashem Elehei Yaakov. Yishlach Ezrecha Mikodesh u'mitzion Yisadeka. Iskar kol min chaysecha ve'iloscha Yedash Nesela. Yitein lecha achil vavecha v'chol atzoscha Yemeli. Neranena b'shuasecha u'v'shem Eleheinu nidgeu Yimali Adonai kol mishalisecha. Ata yadaiti ki Yoshia Adonai Meshichai Ya'aneu Mishnei Kodshay Igvurais Yesha Yeminai. Eile v'echev ve'eile v'asusin v'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eleheinu naskir. Hei makaru v'nafalu v'anachnu kamnu v'anisoidad Adonai Hoshia HaMelech Ya'aminu v'yom karenu. I'm going to say one more psalm, Psalm 130, and I'll read it in English, and you can follow along as well. A song of ascents. Out of the depths I call to you, O Lord. My Lord, hearken to my voice. Let your ears be attentive to the sound of my pleas. God, you to preserve iniquities. My Lord, who could survive? But forgiveness is with you, that you may be held in awe. I hope in the Lord. My soul hopes, and I long for his word. My soul yearns for the Lord more than those awaiting the morning wait for the morning. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is kindness. With him there is abundant deliverance, and he will redeem Israel from all its iniquities. On behalf of the people in Jerusalem, the people in Israel, I thank you for joining me in saying of these Psalms and joining this call in general. Rabbi Blumen.
Thank you, and surely the words of our prayer, heartfelt prayer, are heard on high. The next part of our program, we turn to some words of Torah. The Torah is our trusted guide and source of wisdom through the vicissitudes of our own personal lives and, of course, our nation's struggle. It gives us clarity and strength, the cloud of glory, and it's the pillar of our fire. I'd like to ask Rabbi Dov Greenberg, Shliach of the Rebbe at Stanford University, a gifted communicator of Jewish spirituality, to share with us a few words of the Holy Torah.
Thank you, Reb Zalman. Zalman, could you hear me? Because I did not hear the unmute button go.
Yes, you're good.
Very well. So first of all, I got to say it's a privilege to be on the phone here with this incredible group for a very simple reason. First of all, we have about 1,000 participants, the vast majority students on college campuses around the world, mostly in America. And all of you listening, you all know this, that you all can be doing many very fun things now or important things for your own career or for your tests. But you took time out of your busy day because you care about the Jewish people, because you care about our future. And so we're here together in this conversation with a very special group of Jewish people. To my knowledge, this is actually the largest group of college students getting together in these weeks, in these difficult times, to say we are not only concerned with ourselves, but we want to make a difference, we want to help. And so, God bless you all. It's very, very special to be participating. I want to share with you a story. It's a very beautiful story, but I think it's perhaps the most relevant story that you students in the trenches on college campuses should remember. The story is, there was an autobiography of a fellow named Marcel Reinecke. He was the greatest literary critic in post-war Germany after World War II. He had many books, a very popular television show. He was famous for his wit and his humor. He passed away recently, actually. So, in his autobiography, he tells how he survived the Holocaust. He was just married, him and his wife. And he says somehow he met a Polish typesetter who was actually unemployed. His name was Bolak. And Bolak said, you know what? Hide in my house. I'm going to hide you guys. And that way you might survive this thing. So he said they hid in the house. Bolak risked his life and hid him and his wife in the house, and that's how they survived the war. But he said one night Bolak was drinking. He said a bit too much l'chaim. He was drinking, and he started to babble, and he called them both over, and he said, I want to tell you guys something. He says, the most powerful man in Europe, Hitler, says that you two Jews should die. And I, Bolak, an unemployed typesetter, say you two Jews should live. Now let's see who's going to win. And they survived. And they lived because one unemployed typesetter said, I'm going to stand up and make a difference. And he won. And every college student today has that power of that Bolak and more. You all know that you have a power in your social sphere. You have people that you influence in your classes, in your social circles, and you have the means to really influence many minds. And if you stand up and think wisely and strategically, and we'll hear some information soon about how to do some of that, and there are many other ways to learn strategically how to do this, you have to know that you will win, and you'll make a massive difference, each one of you. You're going to change minds. We're going to fight a good fight and a worthy fight, and we have many friends and many allies, and we're going to win this thing. And here I want to make a rational case with the minute I have left that I think is one of the most critical lessons that Judaism has to tell us about this situation that we find ourselves in now, a very difficult situation on campus in terms of the Israel perception, how Israel is being demonized and delegitimized and accused of the worst crimes against humanity. The other barbaric forces like Iraq, Iran, no discussion. Israel, for some reason, is under attack, and you all know this. But I want to make a very quick point, but it's very relevant, and that is this. We're familiar with 3 key Jewish holidays that actually revolve around BDS. 3 holidays where the enemies of our people said we're going to destroy the Jewish people. We're going to boycott them, and we're going to demonize them, and we're going to try to eradicate them. That's what they said. And this was Haman, who was in Persia, and he said, we're going to destroy the Jewish people, wipe them out. You had Antiochus in the story of Hanukkah, and you had Pharaoh in the story of Passover. 3 powerful empires. They all turned and said, we are going to destroy the Jewish people. We're going to get rid of them. That's what they said. And we celebrate because these attempts failed. And that we all know this. But what we often don't realize is think of the delicacies. That's the key Jewish question, right? What are the delicacies Jews eat on these holidays? On Passover, we eat matzah and matzah balls. On Purim, we eat a jelly kind of cookie, a jelly donut almost, named Hamantash, named after Haman, the arch enemy of the Jewish people. And on Hanukkah, we eat latkes and donuts, oily, healthy Jewish foods, to celebrate our victory over the Greeks. 3 nice pastries, matzah balls, donuts. But these little pastries all symbolize 3 of the greatest empires in human history. Greek, the Persian, the Egyptian. And each one of them said, we're going to wipe the Jew off the face of the earth. And what did the Jews do? We turned them into jelly donuts and cookies and matzo balls. That's what we did. We turned them into mitzvahs, into jelly donuts. Soon we'll have kind of like Ahmadinejad waffle. That's what Jewish history tells us, and that's what we need to remember. We need to remember that it's not somehow we're going to survive. We're going to win this thing, and we're going to celebrate. And that is what all of our history tells us. So at this critical time when you're busy with all your academic stuff and you say, now how am I going to defend Israel? And it looks so bleak. There are difficulties out there. There's no question. But everything in our tradition tells us to stand up. Each and every one of us could make a major difference. The greatest forces on earth could say, I want the Jews to be gone. I want to harm Israel. And each one of you on your campus, in your dorm room could say, and I say differently, and I'm going to win. And we're going to win, and we're going to celebrate. And even though we're living in a world which is gesher tsar ma'od, very difficult. V'ha'ikar, the main thing is lo lefacheh, don't be afraid. Stand up with your Jewish pride like you are, like you're doing this moment, and bring that pride and confidence and joy into your Torah, into your Jewish heart, into your social interactions. Stand with Israel, and together we will win this one.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Dov, those impactful words. At this moment, I'd like to ask you, our sages tell us tzedakah, charity. Tzedakah tatzil mimaves is stronger and more powerful than any forces of death. I'd like to encourage you, this is an action, to take a few coins, or if you can spare a few dollars, and set them aside right now for charity. Any charity you'd like, but I would highly recommend a charity that supports the Jewish people in Israel today. And a great one is the Chabad Terror Victims Project. These are Chabad's first responders to acts of violence and terror incidents, and their emergency response teams are always there, forging an immediate bond with the victims, their families, bringing them financial, emotional, and spiritual support as they struggle to reclaim and rebuild their lives. So I want to give you just a couple of seconds. I know we don't have a lot of money, but whatever we can to set aside and to help do the third prong in the spiritual battle with the act of giving of tzedakah. Thank you. That was an amazing response. Greatly appreciated. I'd like to introduce our next speaker, who will lead us in some practical pointers of what we can do on the physical side of the current battle. David Efyun is the editor-in-chief of the Allgemeiner newspaper, and he has personally transformed it into a major international online destination for Jewish, Israel, and Middle East-related news. David Efyun.
First of all, thank you so much, rabbis. Chabad on Campus, hugely important organization. And of course, to each and every one of you who are attending on this call tonight. It is true, as has been noted on a few occasions already in this call, the campuses are certainly the front lines when it comes to the battleground of ideas, and certainly in the ongoing and ever-growing fight for truth, which becomes more and more amplified as we move deeper and deeper and deeper into what is known today as the information age. When tackling these challenges on your campus and also in your social environments, whether it's through social media or personal interaction, it's important to keep a couple of things in mind, and I'll also share some reasons why I'm optimistic. The first thing that is important for every student to keep in mind is to understand very clearly the line that stands between anti-Semitism and legitimate political discourse advocating for or against the Jewish state. It's crucial, I feel, for every student to understand when they are witnessing anti-Semitism, when they are experiencing anti-Semitism, when anti-Semitism is taking place on their campus, because, of course, the approach to dealing with hate speech and bigotry is different to the approach to fighting in the battleground of ideas over legitimate political ideas and discourse. I would advise every person to take a moment to find for themselves online, it's very easy to find, the State Department definition for anti-Semitism, which includes within it a whole section that relates to anti-Semitism as it applies to Israel, including demonizing Israel, comparing Israel's actions or policies to those of the Nazis, and also creating a double standard for Israel. If you witness anti-Semitism or experience anti-Semitism on your campus, it's important to share that with campus authorities, whether it's police or whatever avenues are made available to students on campus. Outside of anti-Semitism, in the battle for truth, to get the Jewish people's narrative across, to get Israel's narrative across, to get Israel's perspective across, and of course we all understand how challenging and how difficult that is in the digital age, especially where many of the mainstream media outlets do not see the truth as their guiding principle and seek to morally equivocate and even equivocate when it comes to the truth. It's important for us to understand that there are massive, powerful new tools that we have in our hands at our disposal that everybody can use. And it's the reason also why I am so optimistic about the future that exists for Jews and for Israel to be able to have our voice heard almost for the first time in modern history in a way that it hasn't been able to be heard before. And the reason for that is as follows. In the media industry today, it's turning on its head, turning rapidly on its head. We're moving into a space of what we call democratized information, where even the biggest outlets depend on you and me to share their information via Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, social media networks, and create a community around that content. And therein lies the opening for each of us to participate and have a very serious and significant impact on how the truth is conveyed and the ability to present what's happening in the Holy Land and the Jewish people's perspective and Israel's perspective. Even the biggest outlets in the world today rely on us to share their content, and for the first time in history, we've seen how communities, people, individuals have been able to share content enough to force the outlets to make corrections, to present things in the accurate way, and to ensure that the truth comes across. Even last week, there was an article that was published by the New York Times which questioned whether the Jewish temple ever existed on what we all know as the Har HaBayit, the Temple Mount. Obviously, this led to outrage among many in the Jewish community and the historical community, and they quickly issued a correction the next day as a result of people, individuals like you and me who made it our business to share that information and ensure that the truth was heard. Of course, we all know, as Uncle Ben told Spider-Man, and rabbis, you'll forgive me for quoting Spider-Man on a call about this solemn issue, but we all know that with great power comes great responsibility. And that means that the power that each and every person has to post something on Facebook and immediately reach 1,000 people who can then share it with thousands more people and move on to thousands more. And remember, 1,000 times 1,000 equals 1,000,000. And it's amazing how quickly and how fast things can spread when people are moved. This power that lies in your hand, the power wherein every single person on this call is an editor-in-chief of his own Facebook page, of his own social media network, of his own social circle, is one that we all have to take to heart, and we all have to set aside a little bit of time in our day to find the truth, to share the truth with your friends, to spread the truth, and together we can make a difference, you can make a difference, and we can ensure that your voice, our voice, the voice of the Jewish people will be heard loud and clear for everybody to hear.
Thank you. Thank you. David, friends, in conclusion, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to stand proudly with Israel. Let us not forget that tonight is Rosh Chodesh, and a new moon arises over Jerusalem. The Jewish nation compared to the moon, it's a new rebirth. We are told in the Torah that the nation of Israel is compared to a lion that sometimes rests, but when it's awoken, boy, does it roar. You are the leaders. And tonight and today we are awakened. We are standing strong and alive on the front lines. We're standing proud and strong for our brothers and sisters in Israel. And through our commitment to increase each day in a few words of prayer, a few moments of Torah, and to do a couple of coins of charity and helping sway public opinion on that battlefront, we can be assured that the guardian of Israel does not sleep nor slumber and guards the holy cities of Israel and Yerushalayim. Please join with me wherever you are around the world in saying, Am Yisrael Chai. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join the call. Some of the things that were referenced during the call will be posted or have already been posted on the Facebook event. And look forward to having more calls in the future, celebrating and for happy occasions. Thank you again. Laila Tov from Jerusalem.